Hey everyone, this is Casey Smith with Sarasota Pain Treatment Center, and today we have our little friend here, Jack. Jack's now 3 years old, but I originally saw Jack when he was about 8-10 months old, and he was a premature birth. He was also born via C-section, and at about 8 months, his father and his mother both noticed that he was developing some motor skills. He wasn't quite crawling correctly. He didn't seem like he was quite at the pace, even though his body and health had caught up to the average child at that time. His motor functions weren't quite there. So Jeff called me one day and said, "Hey, would you mind, taking a look at Jack?" And what we found was quite astonishing. I'll put up the chart to show his first one now. And what was mind-blowing about his case was due to being, in the NICU center and everything, and being left in one position for a long period of time, the muscles on the right side of Jack's neck became very hypertonic. It created a rotation, which added a lot of pressure to the spine and a lot of intracranial pressure too. So today's the first day that I'm seeing Jack back after a couple years now, and Jack's grown quite a bit, as you can tell. But we're going to do some cranial measurements on him today and see exactly what he has going on, and hopefully just keep him up to pace where he needs to be, and keep any pressures off of his system so he can keep growing healthy and prosperous the way that we want him to. So to save time, I had already taken the liberty to make the measurements and stuff up here, and Jack is still showing a bit of a rotation. There's still a bit of a rotation in his atlas, as well as his temporal bones, his occiput, putting a lot of pressure on the brain stem and the brain itself. So what we're going to do is just kind of take you through correcting these cranial distortions, which can cause a wide variety of issues, from not only digestive issues like colic, IBS in adults, even Crohn's disease, things like that can aggravate the system, but also vision issues, and like I mentioned before, motor skills that are very, very important as a child develops. So we're going to go ahead and start correcting some of these rotation distortions that we're seeing in Jack, and correct the obliquity and everything as well. I can feel there's still some hypertonicity on the right side of this cervical spine through here. And to start, we're just going to start by loosening up some of the fascial tissue, the connective tissue that wraps the cranium, by stretching out the ears just a little bit, very gently. This gives the fascia a good stretch and helps us move the cranial bones a little bit easier. So first, we're going to get some of this rotation out of the base of Jack's skull, which has already started to loosen up just a little bit with some soft palpation and some fascial stretching. Now, just by mobilizing a couple of these bones, I can already start feeling some blood flow coming into Jack's neck, which is good. This healthy blood flow and nutrients to the tissues is what helps the body heal correctly in the way that we want it to. And now we're going to correct the obliquity. Alright, so as you can see here, the cranium wants to flare in on the right side, and on the left side here is actually pretty straight. What happens here is the sphenoid itself will shift laterally to the right side, causing this in-flare and out-flare of the cranium. Go ahead and put that. So ever so gently, we're just going to apply a little bit of pressure here, and that's just going to get that bone to mobilize back into place where we want it to be. Now, if the tissues are soft and they're not hypertonic anymore, these bones typically move fairly easily, especially on children. Their bodies haven't endured many of the stresses and traumas that a lot of adults have throughout their lifetime. So a lot of these cranial bones that need to be mobilize much, much quicker. And then we just correct that obliquity back again. All right. Okay. Now his rotation and everything, his atlas, his occiput, and the majority of his cranium is now alleviated. The obliquity has corrected as well, taking some of the stress off the neck and actually calming down the nervous system a bit. So So what we'll do now is we'll just spend a couple minutes and just loosen up some of the neck muscles through here, all the posterior neck, scalenes, and some of the anterior neck muscles as well. That way the cranium stays in the balanced position that we want it to, so it doesn't go back into distortion once Jack stands up and starts running around. If you have any other questions about cranial balancing, even child work that we do, child therapy, manual therapy that we do here at Sarasota Pain Treatment Center, feel free to give us a call. We're located here in Sarasota, Florida. The number is 941-735-0205. And if you'd like, just give us a call. See if there's something that we could do for your child. C-sections oftentimes, even in Jack's case here where he was born premature and was left in position for an extended period of time while tissues were forming and his body was still growing. He just had a lot of tension built up that was affecting him, as well as not just his motor but some digestive issues as well. So if you have any questions or would like to learn more, please feel free to contact us, and you can also reach us at www.sarasotapaintreatment.com as well as www.painfreesrq.com. Thank you.